part of the Adaptation program, is the Program Manager for the Government Action Plan, and has the advantage of having worked across a number of state government agencies through his career. So thank you, Andrew.
I've seen some people sleeping away. I'm watching you now, so please don't be pointing fingers. We've got a great outcome today, so thank you so much for coming. We are going to be talking about some of the things that state governments actually doing internally. We've got three learned colleagues here that will talk about some of the specific programs in their agencies. Can I introduce to you Dr. Mary Townsend, who will talk about coastal management. We have Dr. David Simon, who will talk about heat waves and health in South Australia, and last but not least, Brenton talking about emergency management. Starting with Mary. Mary is a coastal engineering background and provides advice and guidance on coastal management and climate adaptation to all levels of government. His role includes providing technical support to the Coast Protection Board and its on-ground works program, and managing a specialist group of professionals and technical staff. He's immediate past chair of Engineers Australia's National Committee on Coastal and Ocean Engineering, which has just completed upgrading its guidelines on climate change and sustainability on the coast, and has introduced a new guideline on adaptation. Mary is currently supervising postgraduate research studies in the Schools of Engineering and Earth and Environmental Sciences at the University of Adelaide, studying the engineering, planning and social impacts of climate change. And moving on to Dr. Simon, David is the Director of Scientific Services Branch in SA Health, and for the past 18 years has worked in public and environmental health, dealing mainly with public health aspects of medicines and poisons, and chemical exposure, including the Port Pirie smelter emissions issue. He sits on a range of state and Commonwealth government committees and instrumentalities related to public health aspects of medicines and chemicals. Professionally, he is an environmental toxicologist and pharmacologist with an interest in maths, computing and science, and has 14 years experience in clinical pharmacy. Brenton is here representing the SA Fire and Emergency Services Commission. During a 30-year career in South Australia's emergency services and emergency management sectors, Brenton has served in senior leadership roles in the state's 3 emergency services. And I don't really know which ones they are, but I can only guess. Brenton's current position is Manager Capability Development in Emergency Management Office of SAFECOM, where he works on whole of government and national emergency management projects and initiatives. So these are our 3 speakers, and I understand that I'm standing here between you and the drinks later on, so we are going to move through the session fairly quickly. But before I hand you over to the panel, I would like to discuss what government is doing and how this is managed within government circles, and how we actually support the adaptation framework that Rowan was talking about. So we do have a government action plan within government that has been endorsed by Cabinet and has got quite a standing in government circles. That plan does a number of things. And I guess I'll show them all to you all at once. In the main, it supports the implementation of the framework. And I guess the important issue here is that in our consultation with the regional leaders in developing the framework, the one key important issue that came out is that government will need to take the findings of what happens in the region seriously. So this plan is essentially the formal document that says what we will do as a result of that. The plan articulates responsibilities of government agencies. And I guess there are 4 key issues to remember here. We are about encouraging resilience and adaptive capacity, and we do that through a number of ways. We are about providing relevant science and information. government agencies do have a key responsibility for managing the public assets and services, and that's a key issue. And finally, one of the last sort of groups of responsibilities is the cooperation across governments. The plan does establish a leadership for JUNA as an agency, and what that means is that we not only work across the state with the regional leaders and the regions, we also cooperate and work with agencies right across state government. The plan supports adaptation by the business community and government, and I guess we do that by providing that leadership, that coordination, the institutional arrangements, by providing the data sets and information, and in some cases by providing funding. And importantly, the plan actually links agencies to regional adaptation planning. And there are some structures that I'll talk to you now in terms of how they work and support that regional engagement. So in terms of what the plan articles, and by the way, that plan is a public document, so it can be viewed at the climate change website, so you can just download it from there next to the adaptation framework. The plan includes some 50 actions for government. Around half of those deal with coordination and leadership, and that typically falls within our responsibility, our meaning in the sustainability and climate change area of JUNA. And providing that leadership basically means that we need to partner with regional leaders, peer bodies, and research institutions, so that we are basically working with everyone across the state, and we do that through some of the regional committees that Rowan talked about, and by setting up the sector agreements under our Act. I guess what I want to recognise is that engagement really relies on very close collaboration with the many of you that are here today, and that needs to be recognised. We are all in it together, and without your support, this programme really wouldn't have gone as far as it has. So that's really the sort of external sort of leadership action. The other half of the actions within the plan deals sort of more with the government agencies, with the sector responsibilities, and critically that includes government developing responses to the regional adaptation issues that are identified on the regional scale. So again, this is that mirroring of the good work and good information that's being developed by the regions through the IDAs and adaptation plans. Government really needs to take that on board fairly seriously and start amending some of its policies and strategies to be able to then work together effectively with the regions. And I guess the important thing here is that we do need to develop those strategies and policies on a whole of government basis, and in a way that is well coordinated, that provides whole of government responses. So we don't have a situation where individual agencies come up with solutions that then impact on other sectors without the knowledge. So I guess internally in government we are running either informal or formal processes that allow us to do that. Some of the government people here might know about the Climate Change Adaptation Network that we've established, and that provides information across government. We've got some 150 people in that group across government currently. We've got more formal processes in terms of bringing all the agencies together. We've got an executive cross-agency group on climate change adaptation set up, or soon to be set up within government. There was that mention of community of practice that was made today. Essentially, the Climate Change Adaptation Network is about that. It's about bringing together people that might come from different sectors, but effectively work on that same issue. So I've said enough. I think that gives you some context about essentially the umbrella sort of document that guides some of this work. But again, the important issue is how agencies actually developing some of this work on the ground, and that's why we have three colleagues here today. So can I please invite, where's Mary Townsend?